Hey folks, yes, I'm still working on my build of the Wingnut Wings Rumpler C4 for the reconnaissance group build. I'm still working on rigging. It's a rather involved process, especially the way I do it. Just a recap in terms of what's involved to complete the rigging for this particular airplane. There are 9 lines, therefore 18 contact points on the right wing, obviously, or wings, double that, so it's 18 lines and 36 contact points for the 4 wings. There are, between the left and the right wings, of course, there are a number of struts that have cross bracing, which means 8 more lines, 16 more contact points. There are 4 lines and 8 contact points on the undercarriage. There are 6 lines and 12 contact points on the tail assembly, for a grand total of 36 rigging or control lines, or bracing or control lines, and 72 contact points. And what I have completed so far is I have the 6 of the contact points on each wing and put in place, and all of the rigging lines set. So I've got a grand total of, now I have to think about this. I've done 24 contact points, and I've got 12 lines of rigging in place. I used the model cast-in 0.13 millimeter flexible line, which I really like. I tried the 0.2 millimeter. I just found it very, very frustrating to get it through the brass tubing, which I scored and cut for the connecting piece on top of the gas patch metal turnbuckles and anchor points. But anyway, 0.13 is actually quite close to what's recommended by Wingnut Wings for this line of 0.15. To me, it looks a little bit thin, but maybe that's because generally rigging line or bracing line for models might be a bit overstated for visibility. Just my thought. Anyway, if you want to see how the construction and assembly of doing turnbuckles, anchor points, rigging line is from start to finish, you won't find it here. You will find it at Flying Circus Models, Oleg's wonderful channel. He has some demos, actually I think a brief demo video, and it's incorporated in most of his videos where he's got rigging to do, how he actually puts the whole process together very artfully. It's a straightforward process, especially if one is somewhat adept. A little harder for me, but I got through it all, and I'm happy to say. So these gas patch down here, the longer turnbuckles are in place, and on the underside of the top wing, we've got very short anchor points, and there you can see the little pieces of brass tube that I snipped and wound or threaded the model casting flexible line through and around the loop into the hook or the eye of the anchor point, and brought it back out the other side and through, and then secured it all with a tiny little dab of the medium viscosity CA glue from Starbond. And yeah, now I have to pause and consider when I'm going to assemble what and in what order. That really comes into play with because I've got to put with the wing assembly, the wing struts in, of course, and the cabane strut. Those involve more lines, and I don't want to get myself in a box about having assembled something and then finding it more difficult to do another piece that I may have overlooked. Yes, that does happen to me. I've learned from experience, but that doesn't mean I don't have to rethink everything every time I go through one of these model building exercises. But the toughest part, or what would have been the toughest part, which was doing the rigging on the top wing. Now I've alleviated the major challenge by rigging the top side or the underside of the top wings in advance. Of course, there is cabane struts that meet up there right in the middle on a piece, and I have to figure out how and when I'm going to attach all of that. This may not make a whole lot of sense, but if one's done a Wingnut Wings kit, especially a two-seater with or larger, you'll know what I'm talking about. Thumbs up for the model cast and flexible line. I haven't attached it completely, of course, yet, but I've had good experience with this. Thumbs up for the gas patch, turnbuckles, and anchor points. Sometimes one has to double check to make sure that the eyelet is open. Do that in advance before attaching it. Check them. Readers are, of course, required, or magnifiers, at least for my old eyes. Thumbs up for the Starbond CA glue. And I think that's about it. Onwards and upwards. Thanks for watching.